All right, jumping right in. So the first thing I'm going to show you today is, and all three of the things I'm going to go through are things that we had explicit needs for. So I think often the best process is something where you actually have a use case before you jump into solving some sort of problem. So the first one was our art director was working with a variety of different concept art sources. So we had multiple different concept art houses that we were working with, and we had even individual contributors. And they each, we needed to separate each one of those concept art houses into a separate collection because they had different access and permissions. We didn't, for example, want them to have access to one another's work and make sure that we were keeping things appropriately separated. That created a problem for our art director, who had to go into multiple different boards and multiple different collections to look at the status of each of the pieces of work, even though the pipeline was exactly the same across all of them. And so what we wanted to do was aggregate and centralize like where each of the pieces were in the pipeline, um, and uh, and also be able to do that in one place. So what we did is we actually set up a centralized concept area using automations in Favro. And so what we did is, and I can show you here, and I have a couple of test collections set up for you. We have, let's say we have three different concept art studios that we're working with, each with concepts at various stages of the pipeline. And you can imagine there being dozens of pieces here instead of the 5 I've set up for test purposes. And so what we've done is through automations, we have made it so that when the card is created, it is automatically added to the centralized concept board. And because this is a test, I have only set up like maybe 80% of this. And you could imagine that when the art director creates a task in the central board, it would actually assign that back to the appropriate art house as well. The other thing we've done is we want to make sure that the statuses are synced across boards. So anytime a card changes from any status to the specific status, it makes sure to sync that across to the other board. And so you can see here, we have the backlog here populating. We've made the studio visible in the card. And so I can show you that we can do a couple of things. So let's say external studio 1 makes a unit 16 has been created and assigned to them. Our automation automatically deals with the partner studio and the color of the card. You can see that this unit 16 is also showing up automatically in Concept Central. And let's say we are moving Unit 11 into development and exploration. Well, that's also going to be reflected over here back in exploration. That way, we don't have our art director yelling at me every day about where he can find, he or she can find his cards. Instead, it's all back in this one board. So
Fantastic. And if I understand you right, use this both for external partners, but also internally?
That's right. Yep. So yeah, we even had a contractor working internally, access to our Slack and across many of our different channels. And that individual had their own board just for them. And we didn't always necessarily, again, want these folks having crosstalk between their work. But we do want it filtering back up to the art director.
Thanks for sharing this. This is truly awesome.